Welcome to House Party 5v5. We're in Season 4. This is Week 2, Game 1. On the blue side, we have Industrious Gaming. On the red side, we have White Lightning. And we are seeing the bands coming out already, the Callista and the Gangplank. Go figure. Both of them performing very well. Just overall, not really surprised, particularly by the Gangplank band. We saw Gangplank played numerous games last week, and he performed insanely well, usually being able to two-shot people by the end of the game.
And it's another thing to mention that iSenpai had a pretty weak laning phase overall. He did a fantastic job in teamfighting and showed a very high aptitude with tanks, but hasn't really transitioned over into the aggressive carry meta that's coming into the top lane. And Gangplank, if you give him a free lane, he's going to cause you a lot more problems going into the mid late game.
Right, and inversely, 59 is actually really comfortable with these sort of bruiser, fighter, juggernaut type top laners, so it seems like the meta sort of shifted towards what he's comfortable with and away from what iSenpai is comfortable with. But I'm pretty sure iSenpai will be able to turn it around and find something he likes, or be able to make tanks work a lot better.
Yeah, and comfort's going to be a really big thing with changes to jungle. iMatador is the jungle sub this week coming up for White Lightning, and I'm guessing that he's played a couple games with iSenpai and gotten kind of used to it, but even if there's any sort of disconnect, making sure that iSenpai is on a champion he's comfortable with is really important for White Lightning and teamfights going forward.
And seeing the rest of the bans coming out, we do have Yasuo being banned against Hobbs. Honestly, it can't really be a White Lightning game without Yasuo being banned. Lee Sin being banned, kind of a surprise, I think. Not that we are surprised that Lee Sin is being banned, but specifically that Lee Sin is being banned against Chino Baby, who is the substitute jungler this week, and I don't know, we haven't actually seen him play it yet, so maybe they're just like preemptively afraid of it.
I mean, in his solo queue history, he has a lot of Lee Sin games and just aggressive junglers in general, which I'm really excited to see, especially if he's able to pick on iMatador, who, again, is the sub. Might not be necessarily comfortable with this team. But no matter what, we do have Vayne probably more than likely going over to Kurstina, and iSenpai on the Gnar. So both of those are very strong picks, and Kurstina has been an absolute terror on Vayne. Vayne and Callista, but Callista was banned.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is that, like, any game that Callista is banned, we've seen Kurstina pick up, like, Vayne. Or occasionally something else, but usually it's Vayne. And it's weird because we've only seen a few really good games from Callista because Callista just gets banned against him all the time. But we've seen a lot of really good games on Vayne. So you'd think they'd start maybe banning Vayne more, but maybe not. We do see the Rek'Sai and the Tristana being picked up. The Tristana being a little bit of a weird pick, but I guess it does fulfill the same role as having a Jinx, and it also lets you have a little bit more mobility to get away from, say, the Gnar ults and such. So I can agree with maybe taking that.
Yeah, and Lord Merc has been a really impressive Tristana player as well, especially in the minor league last season. Whenever he brought out the Tristana, he did a ton of damage. And really just showed that he was probably the strongest AD coming out of the minor league last season.
And I think... Oh, okay, so we have the junglers being locked in on both sides now. We do have the Elise and the Alistar being locked in on White Lightning. Alistar, of course, being a powerhouse support right now. He's pretty good with Juggernauts, pretty good against Juggernauts, and he's very good at setting up good plays for Vayne. So
as well as Gnar, and kind of pulling away the tension of Gnar being the only true engage for a team. I mean, you do have the single target lockup of Elise Cocoon, but it gives you another way to go into these fights that's a lot easier than waiting out the Gnar bar.
Right, and ooh, the Darius hover? Might be seeing the Darius get played in this game. Would be 59 bringing it, and it looks like he does want to bring the Darius. Alright, so Darius versus Gnar. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I am excited because we haven't really gotten to see many Darius games top lane after his changes. But he is very strong. Not just because he does a decent amount of damage. Like, damage aside, he does a nice
decent amount of damage, yeah.
Like, he does a decent amount of damage. The important thing is that he does a nice chunk of damage and also is unkillable when it comes to the late game. If you can't burst him down, he will just heal up because of the Decimate heal.
And it plays really well with Afro's pick of the Orianna. Be able to shield him, speed him up, and give him even more survivability. And if you're able to get into that backline and start these fights, which could be a little bit difficult for IG without a good way to kind of walk up on people, you have to set up a flank. But if they're able to get into these fights, they have a very, very scary comp.
Oh, definitely. And I am sure that we're going to see a lot of strange things coming out because we have subs versus subs right now because Chino Baby is not the normal jungler for this team, and iMatador is not the normal jungler for White Lightning. So they kind of swapped out both of those. So maybe we'll see a little bit of like uncomfortableness between the rest of the team, and maybe the synergy will be a little bit off. You never know. I am uncertain of which lane is probably going to be the main lane to look at because we talk about like the top lane. Oh, well, if Darius gets ahead, then he's hard to kill. But that's the same with like each of these different lanes on one side or the other. Because if Orianna gets ahead of Ahri, then Ahri has to roam or she becomes useless. And if Christina on Vayne gets ahead of Lord Merc on Tristana, then he can't do anything. Tristana has to go off elsewhere and hopefully be able to farm up to catch up.
But no matter what, I like this setup for IG. They know that they're a big laning team, and they get a lot of strengths coming out of the laning phase, and they pick the aggressive laners to go with it. Tristana Thresh is a very, very scary combination that's able to really bully out a lot of different lanes, but able to be a real powerful force. Orianna's always been a consistent mid laner, and someone who's been able to get a lot of damage out of her auto attacks and just her kit in general. And no matter what, be safe and be able to play aggressive or passive, depending on the person, depending on the lane. And as we touched on previously, 59 on Darius is going to be a very, very scary potential. Darius is just a terrifying champion. I think Darius is at a 90% plus ban rate in Platinum and higher elos, just because so many people are afraid of this champion. He does so much damage going into these fights, and he's just so difficult to kill as well.
Well, he has a similar issue of Garen where, like, when he gets ahead, and I guess this is true of most of the Juggernauts now, once he gets ahead, he does a lot of damage and also is hard to kill. And that's the key, is when you have a champion that can fulfill both of those, and his only drawback is his mobility, which can be compensated from items or other champions, it suddenly becomes really hard to fight them. Because if Darius gets his passive up and manages to get the Noxian Fury, he can rip through a team really fast. He gets instant full stacks of hemorrhage on everybody, and can just begin dunking people left and right.
It's a threat of the reset on so many different levels because you also have Tristana possibly jumping around and resetting as well, and being able to blow up the squishies coming out for White Lightning.
Alright, and to briefly touch on something, we did not see any Devourer jungles picked, because Devourer is currently disabled, and that may or may not have sort of changed up what might have been picked. We might have seen like a year or something, but either way, Devourer is disabled right now for one reason or another, so we don't have to worry about seeing those today.
I didn't think we were that likely to see them anyway.
I mean, that's true. We're shifting away from the age of the Devourer.
Champion pool.
But Caster's going to be taking a brief break while we wait in the load screen. See you guys on the Rift. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first game of the day in Week 2, Season 4 of the House Party 5v5 Premier League. I am, of course, Deck Club Ace, and joining me today is going to be Mr. Stein.
I'm really excited to see how both of these team comps come out. We have this just kind of super brawly squad coming out for IG here versus what's more oriented as a pick comp, because anytime Habs plays an assassin, it's a pick comp. But either way, a lot of versatility and a lot of both sides having basically a three-threat comp.
Yeah, and I really like it because it's better than having the risk of a tank who will fall really far behind, because when they fall behind, they just become a utility champion. So we have these hybrid champions top lane. Like Gnar, yes, he is a tank in a way, but he's like a juggernaut almost, but not really. He's a fighter is what he is. And the thing that is entertaining here is that if one lane loses, that doesn't lose the game quickly. Because if Kurstina wins, that doesn't necessarily mean that Kurstina will suddenly be able to fight 59 or Afro. Like, he can very easily just get locked down and killed. So it's just going to have to be really careful across the map. Unless, of course, every lane wins on one side, in which case, well, then one team has to play behind. Seeing very little happening here. Of course, the now standard top laner joining the jungler, clearing a few jungle camps, making sure that both of them are able to be safe, and the bot laners will be taking their respective camps.
That's really interesting. 59 ends up with the red buff. I don't know if that's intentional, but it'll help out against iSenpai if he's able to get on top of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was unintentional, but there's not much that you can do about the Darius red buff, or the Darius bleeds, so...
Yeah, possibly some miscommunication coming out from this up already, but Kurstina gets hooked in. Pocket Knife gets knocked up by Simkev there, but a good trade. Kurstina doing as much as he can with a foot back in the lane, but the early level 2 coming out for Lord Merc and the Pocket Knife, giving them a really solid trade in the spot lane.
Yeah, I think that was very heavily because of Lord Merc's ability to clear the wave a little bit faster, and because of that he was able to get in range once he hit level 2. And a bomb that early, particularly because Pocket Knife was able to kind of reel him in and let him get a couple of auto attacks onto it, is a nice amount of damage and forced Kurstina to blow his health pot really early.
Yeah, but I mean, as soon as Wave hits the tower and Alistair is able to get a point to heal, the health pot shouldn't really be too big of an issue. You have the sustain of the Relic Shield, you have Alistair's Triumphant Roar. Alistair lanes in general are pretty easy to sustain through because he has such of a low mana, low cooldown heal that doesn't cause too much stress in the lane.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's going to put him very far behind. It's just a sort of like, oh, well, he's a couple of minions behind and also doesn't have his health pod. But at the same time, Pocket Knife doesn't have a heal, so it is... Oh,
we see the hooks, like the pull coming in from 59. It's a lot of good damage out, but iSenpai is able to turn around with a Meganar there.
Oh, hello, Rek'Sai,
Chino Baby, he's down there. He's able to chase it down. He does get the flash in, gets the knockup. iSenpai's able to follow that. 59 does get the slow with the red buff. They're just trying to chase it out. 59 wants his kill really badly, and yes, that is first blood going over to Darius. 59 does a fantastic job. Chino Baby has a very, very solid gank. iSenpai playing aggressive when he doesn't really have the wards to back it up.
Yeah, I think it was really weird because iSenpai kind of like blew his flash really early because he was afraid of Chino Baby knocking him up. But because of that, he put himself in a position where Chino Baby could easily flash onto him and knock him up. Because there was nowhere for him to run. If he'd flashed a little bit further upwards, he might have been able to delay long enough to get his leap back up. But unfortunately, he didn't. And because of that, they did have the tower dive. They didn't lose anyone. So...
Well, I don't think his leap is likely to be back up. He used it pretty early on. It's on an 18-second cooldown level 1 right now.
That's true.
But either way, he was playing very aggressive without really the vision to back it up. And a good kill coming out, and, you know, good teamwork coming out from 59 and Chino Baby.
It's certainly interesting to see. We were kind of... I say we were kind of downplaying it, but we were talking about the junglers being the odd ones out, the substitute players or flex players or whatever, but Chino Baby's done really well so far. iMatador has not yet come out to gank. Well, I believe he did actually gank mid lane, but he failed. There was a cocoon that was thrown somewhere along the lines.
It was a failed cocoon, but he was able to give Habs lane control here, get a lot of pressure onto Afro. As you can see, Habs doing a lot of damage here, being able to just trade out autos and really force Afro into an uncomfortable situation, sitting on the very defensive cleanse summoner spell.
See, normally I question some of the summoners that people ring mid, but like Afro brings cleanse. No surprise, he's against a charm CC based mid laner, but Habs brought Ignite. I'm kind of surprised because he knew that Afro was going to take cleanse. There's no way that Afro was going to take like heal. Oh,
Pocket Knife gets a good pin down there. They're able to push him under turret, but Kurasina is taking a lot of damage here. They're not really going to die, but they blow the heal and the exhaust out of Kurasina and Simcav.
I think Kurasina tried to tumble one direction and tumbled into the wall instead. And yeah, that set up a really poor move there. But back to talking about the summoner spells. Hobbs brought Ignite, and I don't really agree with that. I mean, I guess you do need an Ignite to fight Darius, but like in mid lane, it's not really going to help him very much. And he could take Exhaust or Barrier or whatever, but I guess as an assassin, he might need it. Personally, I've never seen him actually need it to kill somebody. He usually just uses it as insurance.
I feel like whenever he takes a defensive summoner, he's able to do more damage in the lane anyway. Anyway, iSenpai and Matador are able to get this gank down on the 59, get a lot of CC. He's trying to heal, and they're not willing to dive quite yet with the minion wave not there. And a good combo from iSenpai and Matador to really chunk out 59, but he's able to heal it up and just kind of walk away.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, when Decimate hits champions with the Axe Blade, it does heal him for 12% of his health per champion that he hits with, up to a maximum of 36%. But he managed to heal a whole bunch of his missing health that he took, and we saw his health go down really fast.
We see Habs kind of chasing out Afro in the mid lane here. Doesn't land the charm and kind of backs off. Another good thing, because Chino Baby is sitting right on the wings. But, oh, he's sitting on a pink ward. Doesn't seem to see it there in his Tremor form. It has to back off before iMatador and Habs are able to collapse and possibly kill him.
Ooh, iSenpai. Oh, never mind, he's safe. Little hop away, he's fine. Nothing wrong. Oh, Chino Baby just coming for yet another gank top lane.
Just saying hi. Nothing too threatening.
Just passing by, tossing out some waves, that's all.
Now we taking stock of the situation. The bot lanes have both back. Lord Merc's able to get his big pickaxe by, and Kurasina does get the Bilgewater Cutlass for a little bit of CC and slow, or CC and sustain. Habs does have an 11 CS lead with a little bit of the pressure from iMatador and a lot of the pressure from him himself. And iSenpai is down just 4 CS to 59 in the top lane, but he's down, of course, that very important kill.
And ooh, nice condemned tumble from Kurasina to avoid that hook. That would have gone very poorly because Simkev was not even remotely close.
I mean, he still had his flash, but that most likely would have been had to be burned in a very, very quick succession because Lord Merc was coming and did have ultimate.
Oh yeah, most certainly. However, we do see Lord Merc does have a lead here. It's a small lead, but it is a lead, and it's enough to let him kind of bully Kurasina around, say, okay, well, we're the ones deciding the fights, we're the ones that are going to decide whether or not you're allowed to come farm normally. Hopefully you can farm under tower, because you're going to be spending a lot of time there.
Yeah, and I mean, he's doing a good job to bully this lead and take the LECS. And I would like to see this kind of free up Pocket Knife and let him run. Oh, but we see Habs all-inning Afro in the mid lane. He still has a Spirit Rush up. He's holding the Ignite. Does cleanse the Ignite. He's able to chase through. And is he going to go down? Yes! Afro does get the trade kill on Habs after the 2 turret shots and the very well-placed ultimate. Very well played from Afro the Giant. So close from Habs.
Yeah, it was really close, but like exactly what I was saying was...
Oh, we see a possible all-in coming in the bot lane here. The heal is blown for Lord Merc. Lord Merc is trying to all-in here. Does blow him up and gets out. Great play from Lord Merc in the pocket knife, blowing up Kurasina, who didn't use heal. That might be a bug. I believe he might have healed, or it might have been just off cooldown, but Kurasina not using the summoner spell that would have probably saved his life there.
I'm not so sure it would have saved him, though, because he had no health left, and that was a fully stacked bomb.
Well, that was a fully stacked bomb, but fully stacked bomb probably doing 300 400 damage there, and Christina's heal would have healed him for just 165. So, you're right, it might not have saved him, but you can't blame him, or you can blame him for not trying, I guess. But Christina is definitely a better Vayne player than I am, knows the limitations of that champion significantly more than I do. Can't fault him too much for that decision.
So I do kind of, we didn't really get to talk about it because a thing happened bot lane almost instantly after the Hobbs Afro fight, but I did want to point out that exactly as I said, oh, Hobbs went in because he took this Ignite. He can kill Afro with Ignite, but Afro has Cleanse. And because of that, Afro managed to win the fight that he was losing. He only won it because, oh, well, he waited out, and that was very smart of him. He knew exactly what was going to happen. It's like, okay, you can see
possible dive happening in the top lane here. Chino Baby smites early. Isenpai is dodging it around a lot. Chino Baby taking a lot of turret aggro. Does get the flash out, but Matador is here to try to turn this around. Misses the cocoon. They're trying to chase down with the boomerang and the W. They are able to get a good bit of damage. Isenpai is possibly going mega in a couple seconds. Darius does blow his decimating smash, but Isenpai transforms, throws a Q, and they just walk out. Wood Merc is looking to all-in Kurasina here, or at least just chunk him out and leave him out of lane. That is half his HP. The pocket knife flashes forward, but does miss the hook. Kurasina blows his heal on that one. But very good job from Lord Merc, the pocket knife, to again bully out Kurasina and try to give more of a lead over to this Tristana.
You know, it's kind of weird because whenever we talk about White Lightning, we usually expect them to be the ones that are like making these early aggressive plays, and it's turned around on them. Afro.
Dodge it. Habs does a fantastic job to dodge the shockwave this time. With Matador there, they're able to get the first kill of the game. And, you know, Cleanse is a long cooldown.
It does have a long cooldown, and unfortunately, it's long enough that, well, he was going to die anyway. Looks like he's kind of hanging around, but...
Yeah, good cocoon for my Matador to put a little bit more damage on Chino Baby, but nothing too considerable to try to force him out there. I do have to say, I didn't like Chino Baby smiting so early against Isenpai in the top lane. It immediately drew turret aggro to him, so he couldn't dive as hard as he couldn't dive and chase as well as he could have, and he wasn't able to get on top of Isenpai to really land the CC and get the combo for 5-9 to ult and try to pressure this lane.
And we do see Matador down here near bot, but he's just kind of backing. I'm guessing, yeah, he just wants to buy a couple of things, get his health all the way back to full, and then maybe make a play somewhere else. We're seeing a lot of play coming out from Chino Baby, particularly towards this top lane. He does really want to snowball 59. Never mind. Looks like he's swapping, going towards the bot side jungle.
He's definitely triggering that farm alarm. Picks up the race there, tries to smite him, gets a little bit of vision control coming out from there. But Habs with another nice charm and a good chunking on Afro. Does a fantastic job as well, just kiting right outside of tower aggro there to not take a turret shot for his brief trade. But Lord Merc and Pocket Knife do pick up the bot lane turret there. But Matador is right here. He's able to stun a Pocket Knife. Simcap is able to trap him down. Pocket Knife I don't think is going anywhere. That's a kill going over to Kurasina. A nice brief headbutt, but this might be the turnaround. Lord Merc jumps forward. Matador comes in, but 5-9 has already teleported down. They're probably going to pick up Matador here. He still has flash, but is most likely not going to be escaping the situation, and Lord Merc does pick it up to go to 2-0.
Well, it's unfortunate that Pocket Knife died. I believe that was a little bit risky on his part. He should have known that it seems weird they're not backing up very far. And unfortunately, he paid for it. But good play from 59, managing to teleport in and get himself a nice little bit of gold.
A nice assist there, a little bit of CS as well. Lord Merc again trying to all-in Kurasina, but Simcap is right there, does dodge it, and Kurasina goes down to Lord Merc in the 1v1.
Hey, you have to respect a BF Sword pickaxe Tristana. She does do a lot of damage.
My question was, where was Simcap? Simcap was roaming over to try to get a little bit of vision control, and as soon as he did, Lord Merc went for the all-in. But Simcap flash ball beat and just missed. and wasn't able to get the CC that would have saved Christina's life, more than likely. Pocket Knife with a nice hook on the Habs. Habs does get blown up by the Shockwave. He's able to kite back. They're chasing onto here. iMatador draws a line of fire with the Cocoon, says, you will not cross this. And they back off, and, you know, they trade the ultimate there from Habs for the ultimate from Afro.
Well, the worst part was that they...
Sim kept chasing on here. Does get the headbutt pulverized combo. Habs just blows him up through the cleanse, but Lord Merc is more than likely going to pick this up. Chino Baby gets the first kill. They're able to chase into Simkev. Simkev does have the ultimate going, not taking a lot of damage, but that's a one-for-one trade. Afro and Habs both going down. The cleanse didn't quite do it this time.
That was a really weird flash fight, because I guess Habs feels that he really needs the kills to be able to snowball to the point he wants to be at, because right now they're all playing from behind, which we had feared. Everybody on their team is behind in some way.
Except Habs.
Except Habs. That's the caveat, is everybody else is behind. He needs to just force himself, even if it costs him some deaths, he needs to get enough gold to be able to help the rest of his team. There was one thing I wanted to... they traded... They didn't just trade, one ultimate for Habs' ult. They traded, Pocket Knife's ultimate as well. So they lost a little bit of utility for that. That ultimate won't be up for at least another, 30 or 40 seconds.
This is true. And if there's one team also in the major leagues that knows how to play from behind, it's White Lightning. They're known for their team fights. They're known for this ability to find a carry, blow them up, and just know what to do. Simkev is still walking forward very boldly. Does get the knockup onto Pocket Knife, and Habs is able to dodge away from Afro Shockwave. And they're gonna just walk up and take the dragon. Very good play coming up from White Lightning. Simkev just being a threatening cow, even if he only knocks up 1 or 0 targets. Well played from White Lightning to know, hey, we have the ability to just walk in here and threaten.
I mean, that was a good play from White Lightning, but I have to question the decision-making from Industrious Gaming, because they went after Hobbs, and you can't catch Hobbs. Like, it's an Ahri who has Spirit Rush, has not even used it yet. Even if they did somehow manage to get the Shockwave off, it still wouldn't have been enough to kill him. So they just decided to give up on trying to contest the dragon. They assumed that they could maybe catch somebody, but they didn't.
Yeah, very interesting decision-making from IG there. But like I was trying to say before, if there's one team that's no slouch playing from behind, it's White Lightning, whose shotcalling and mid-game team fighting has been known as probably the best in the entire Premier League. It's IG's biggest weakness. They've kind of have this ability to win lane. They have this ability to play really aggressive, but they don't have the shot calling to say, this is our fight, this is how we're going to take it, this is our objective control, we can do this, this is our warding, we can dictate pressure from here. They're very much unsure of themselves outside the laning phase, and even this 2k gold lead, we can see how long it will hold out.
Yeah, and I think that's a combination of, yes, sure, White Lightning is really good at their mid-game fighting and skirmishes and such, and their shot calling is really good, but more importantly, their team synergy tends to be really good. Like, if they see somebody go in, they don't just, that guy's dead. They'll say, okay, can we actually win? If there's a sliver of chance of winning, let's go in, because we can make a play out of this. And we've seen it multiple times where Hobbs will be used as bait. They'll say, okay, I'll do a lot of damage, and then Christina will be able to clean up the fight. Or iSenpai will dive in or teleport in by himself, and then suddenly he'll be really low, but the entire enemy team will be next to him.
Now, good cocoon onto the Pocket Knife, but they're able to just, IG is able to just walk up and take the turret. Really utilizing Lord Merc's mid-game power there.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a lot of leveraging that power that Tristana gives, and if they weren't doing this, then, well, they would be in trouble, because that would become harder the longer the game goes.
Wait, I'm sorry, they didn't use Lord Merc there because Lord Merc is walking to the bot lane. They're all going in on 5-9 though. They're able to blow him up, but a big shockwave from Afro is probably going to deter any further turret diving. A good charm at the pocket knife there, and Habs, no stranger to turret shots, but walks back and 5-9 just goes down after getting caught by a cocoon. By a charm, sorry.
No, you were right. Lord Merc was here when they took the tower. He just immediately left to go get that delicious farm bot lane.
And even so, I mean, IG tried to step back and try to play more cautious with it, but then I think you have to go completely cautious. Afro has enough damage to clear a wave here pretty easily, which is a Rex IQ to kind of soften it up. Christina does not have too much siege pressure, but instead they just get caught out by letting them walk up the turret pretty free and being a little bit too far out.
I'm waiting for Afro to like shine through and show this amazing shockwave that we know that he's been holding back, because every time we've seen a shockwave it's been like, you kind of got somebody, but it was Habs and he can spirit rush out of it, or it just didn't hit anybody.
I mean, that last shockwave was really good. It hit 4 targets, but the issue was there was no follow-up from the rest of his team. 59 was down. 59 was trapped, displaced. We kept talking so much in the pregame about Darius' survivability, and he doesn't have it when he doesn't have a tanky item up than sort of Black Cleaver and is being focused down by 5 members. There just was no damage to follow up on this Orianna shockwave, and no matter how good it was, the damage was too split. Lord Merc was in the bot lane. They were just able to get the pick for free.
We are seeing kind of a shift back to what we saw back in the laning phase, just splitting the teams up again, this time without towers for White Lightning.
Now, really interesting. Usually, White Lightning does have very good side wave control. The charm forces the cleanse out of Afro already. That's a big cooldown coming out for pretty much nothing, and I don't know, the decision make if you don't instantly cleanse and Abs is walking away as Ari, I don't see why you do it with a couple seconds delay. You might have just fat fingered it there.
It's entirely possible that he did fat finger it. It's also possible that he was afraid that somebody else was nearby, and they don't have vision of this bot side, so it is possible that they could be seen.
White Lightning setting up with a Death Brush with 40 seconds to go until this dragon. They have complete control over this area and great warding, but Isenpai is really looking...
So close.
Cocoon. But Isenpai
so
looking for something to build up Rage for so he can hit Meganar right in time for this potential second dragon fight. Or third dragon fight.
And slowly but surely, Afro is managing to hold his own, but I'm not sure that's going to be able to last forever. His defensive costs a lot more mana than Hobbs' offensive does.
Simkev is hooked in, and that's a big chunk coming out of his HP bar. Still holds on to his ultimate, bomb. Yeah, he's gonna try to heal up with his Triumphant Roar, but this will probably give enough time for IG to stall out Isenpai's Mega and go into the fight immediately following when White Lightning is significantly weaker. I would guess they're going to try to... Okay, they're going to try to possibly get a pick with Habs waiting on the wing here, but they're going to try to get... they should be giving up this dragon. Lord Merc has finished PDIE. He's very, very strong here. They don't have a good avenue in. They've now lost the vision control, and Isenpai is out of range. They should not be taking this fight. But then again, it's White Lightning.
They don't want to... The thing is, they don't want to take the fight, but what they want to do is they want to force IG into this stalemate. They don't want IG to go do anything because there's a huge
but
wave
Habs
bot,
going all in
wave
the mid lane does force the flash out of Afro, but flash force Spirit Charm. It's going to be very interesting. They're able to hook on a Simkev. Simkev is walking forward in this fight. Isenpai is almost Mega. Christian is immediately condemned, but that's a big combo coming out and a great ultimate coming out after the Giant. He just hammer around this backside. Christina goes down. Chino Baby is able to auto from the background, survive with just a sliver of HP, and Lord Merc is still alive. Gonna get the reset here. Jumps forward, tries to get Isenpai. Just one auto away. Yes, does get the double kill. Habs is able to charm him up, but Lord Merc is saying who's charming who. Jumps forward into the turret range. Flashes away from the hook that is blocked by a minion instead, but that is a 1-for-4 coming out in favor of IG.
That was a pretty insane fight. I thought that it was going to go White Lightning's way because Afro wasn't quite in a position to do anything, but because they clumped up onto 59, and he managed to survive long enough because of that Decimate heal. It put him in a good position to, hey, guess what? Everybody clumped around the Darius. Let's get this nice 4-man Shockwave in, do a whole bunch of damage, and now we can turn the fight around.
Yeah, and you were talking about trying to pull people into choke points earlier, and they just all walk into 5-9. Kurosina immediately has to flash out there, and he's just sitting there waiting for Afro to get a great ultimate. Again, I agree with you. That fight probably could have gone to White Lightning if they'd waited just a little bit longer and had Kurosina coming from a different flank, and just focus on Afro, who is split from the rest of the team. A good Charm Cocoon combo blows a lot of HP off of Pocket Knife, forces him to use his Face of the Mountain there, but it's again...
He's probably going to
yeah, definitely going
I
back
hope
there.
So.
But it's again just awkward decision making. Habs ults forward, doesn't get anything, but they are able to pressure enough out of this turret. 59 is walking forward. He does have flash up. Would like to see a flash E if they're going to look for the fight, but they're just going to let him back anyway.
Now, I do just want to draw attention to Hobbs' items because we don't normally see a death cap super early, but here we have it. Morellonomicon directly into a death cap. Usually you want to go for something that's either a little bit more defensive for your second item if you're behind, but he's really committed to trying to snowball the game with the very minor lead that he has. It's only 400 gold.
Oh, but they're going all in on Kurosina here, and Lord Merc just blows up this vein, showing why his Tristana is just terrifying.
Blows up in the most literal sense.
Literal sense. Kurosina
you might say that Kurosina was the bomb.
No, I mean, Kurosina had a bomb on his head, slightly. Pocket Knife going for a hook, trying to fish around, trying to pressure this top tier 2 turret for the alliteration, folks. And Darius is, however, hammering on this bot lane. iSenpai is walking towards there and going to try to slow it down, but it's probably going to be too late. This wave is very big, and Darius, yes, does take down the tier 2.
Ton of damage coming out from that little bitty bomb that Tristana can toss. Explosive Charge at this point in the game is doing a whole bunch of damage to towers, and it's got a whole lot of AD to back it up.
But they go back to positioning in the top lane. What do you have to do if you're White Lightning? You don't have the ability to dictate pressure here. You're kind of waiting around for IG to make a mistake. If you're White Lightning, how do you decide this is going to be our way, this is how we're going to get ourselves back in this game, besides just waiting for a member of IG to walk into a brush they shouldn't and just getting blown up by Habs or an iMatador?
I think at this point, White Lightning really needs to sort of like take advantage of their pick style comp that they did make with Hobbs. It's not a true pick comp, but it is close enough. And they need to pick a target and kill it. And that target ideally should not be Afro, because if Afro has Cleanse Up, then they're not going to kill him fast enough. Now, if they could catch Lord Merc, or if they could catch 59 away from his team, that means not near Dragon. Don't fight near Dragon with an Orianna if you don't know where Orianna exactly is. Then potentially they can turn this around. There is almost a 7,000 gold lead, but we have seen teams come back from worse. They're not completely out of it yet, but it is going to be quite a climb the other way. If we look briefly at the gold leads that we do have, that lead that Hobbs had, which as we saw before was about an 800 to 900 gold lead, is slowly whittling away. It's only 100 or so now.
I mean, but that is still something to say that in the face of the 4 turret lead coming out for IG and all of the kills and assists they're able to get as a team being up 6 kills, that Habs still has a gold lead.
Yeah, it's more that I'm saying, okay, he is really good. He's not as far ahead as he would like to be, but he is the strong point of his team right now, and his team needs to like fight with him. A lot of times we're seeing Hobbs harassing. He has like maybe one person with him, but he's trying to solo harass Afro, or he's trying to maybe do something else with it. But what needs to happen is they need to somehow make picks. They need to keep vision control.
White Lightning
And
might be
not
going
fight
for a play here.
59
59 does get the big hook. Imatador goes down to half HP pretty much immediately. Has nowhere to repel to. He's probably going to go down, and yes, Baby is on a killing spree. White Lightning's in the middle of the team. Shockwave hits just Simcap. iSenpai knocks them back. They're trying to peel for Kurasina. Kurasina able to auto attack quite a bit. Habs does get the kill, but Lord Merc has the double, has the triple. I think that's a quadra. Yes, that's a quadra kill over to Lord Merc. And a fantastic team fight for IG, just walking up saying, this is our fight. And they're probably going to take down the inhibitor here as well in a 5-for-1 fight.
Case in point, don't fight 59 when he's near his team like that. He lasts a pretty long time. He didn't have to use flash. He could have flashed in and gone like, oh, I'm going to chase Kurzdina, but no. Like, and the best part was that we saw the shockwave, and okay, I would ridicule it because, oh, it only hit Alistar, whatever. But Kurzdina flashed away from it. Habs flashed away from it. Matador was already dead, but there was so many flashes that were blown in a short span of time.
It forced so many people out of the way, and once 59 was able to get in the middle of their team again, able to slow them down with the Deadman's played as long, also with his E, and Lord Merc was able to jump forward without really the threat of people repositioning. The unspoken shockwave, I think, did a ton there. But they're able to chase down. They're going to try to contest this dragon, but it does go over. This might be the only chance for White Lightning to get back into the game if they're able to turn around here. But but Lord Merc assassinates the assassin, and Christina goes down. So many kills going over to Industrious Gaming here. They're probably going to pick up this win. Lord Merc gets another kill. iSenpai with a nice ultimate, but he gets pulled back into the team. A double kill going over to 59 as well. A triple kill to Darius. And that is a random 31-minute ace. I say random because it happened at different places of the map. Lord Merc able to get the solo kill onto Habs.
Well, you know,
Spirit Rush up, I believe. But they just came out.
59 came in and he brought the slam. They were not prepared.
But a fantastic game going over to IG. Well, not necessarily. There's still the base left. Afro has left the game, so has Pocket Knife. So that's a little bit something to question. But Lord Merc is gonna blow up Kurasina. Not before the shutdown on Darius. Habs does get the charm, but has nothing to follow up. And they're able to just walk away. Two of their members have left the game right now. I'm a little bit confused what's happening. There is no pause. There's the pause.
There's the pause.
Little bit confused what happened there because they probably could have ended the game, but they're gonna give White Lightning a second life. Not sure what they can do with it.
That's dangerous though. Like, okay, White Lightning's really far behind. Their chances of coming back are very low, but at the same time, giving a team like White Lightning a second chance isn't ideal.
I mean, I think giving anyone a second chance is not ideal. But hopefully Pocket Knife and Afro are able to reconnect quickly to get us back into this game.
And I guess we can briefly talk about some of the changes we saw. Matador, I don't think that he performed poorly per se. I just think that he got outperformed by Chino Baby. So I would have liked to see him on something besides Elise. Something a little bit more either playmaking or something that can do a little bit more early. He just did not have the presence that Chino Baby did.
I mean, I think Elise is definitely a fine early pick if you're able to hit the cocoons and be confident with it. He didn't really walk in the lane. There weren't really moments where he overextended. He didn't have good enough vision control to counter-gank Chino Baby and really be that threat that iSenpai and Habs might have needed to excel in their lanes. And Christina and Simcap were in an awkward situation no matter what because you have a very aggressive lane with Lord Merc and Pocket Knife on Thresh Tristana. And not too much you can do as the Vayne Alistair there.
I do want to bring attention to it, though, because Chino Baby did build this Sightstone, and they've been leveraging their vision control for the majority of the game. And I think if iMatador had built one as well, they might have been able to compete. But as it was, sure, they had a lot of pink wards out multiple times. They could get really good vision in, but it didn't matter because just because Chino Baby had a Sightstone, his team was managing to get a lot more vision out.
And I also have to highlight, I believe the sweepers were also all upgraded pretty much immediately for IG. They're able to upgrade all their trinkets and just be on the ball. Granted, they had a little bit of a gold lead early on. We're able to do that kind of without as much of a cost, but we're able to get the transition over much quicker than the members of White Lightning.
So, most importantly, though, I have to say, Lord Merc, this Tristana play was fantastic. Like, even if White Lightning somehow comes around and beats you, like, Tristana play was crazy good. There was a lot of harassing going on. There wasn't too much over-aggression towards a tower. We didn't necessarily see him, like, stick around and say, oh, I have to get the last hits on the tower with the bomb so that it will blow up for the biggest it can. No, it was do as many as I can safely and then get out.
And Mycroft Holmes helping us out in the chat, pointing out that in Southern Florida there's a big power outage right now, so that could be an issue with Afro and Chino Baby. Their power might have gone out, which would have caused them to disconnect. White Lightning has been a team that has had a very solid identity for the season and a half. They won the previous season. They've been a fantastic team fighting team. But they need to change for this new season. They haven't looked as sharp coming into it. iSenpai has been bullied in this top lane. I mean, he was ganked multiple times by Chino Baby in 5-9. But he hasn't had the same identity in these team fights that he had previously. Matador, again, has not looked comfortable on this team yet. He is a sub. If he joins the full roster, then good luck to him. But there just is this matter of disconnect that we haven't seen with all of the other junglers White Lightning has come out. For those who don't know, White Lightning has had iSenpai, Habs, Kirstine, and Simcap for pretty much the entire of a previous season. And the jungler has been changing out. It was Learning Climb. The main person is Chickstick LP. But no matter who their jungler was, the main four were able to focus and be a really well-coordinated team. It hasn't shown the same way here, but then again, that's also been... I think they were a little bit out-comped, and they were out-rotated in the early game. And IG has been playing this early mid-game absolutely fantastic with the team comp that really thrives in this early mid-game.
Well, when you look at the team comps, though, we do have... Like, White Lightning's team comp is more of a thing that we would have seen a few months ago. Like, it abuses the Gnar. It abuses the changes that happen to Elise. But, like... On the other side, we have the team comp that is, okay, well, we have a Juggernaut. Let's play like we have a Juggernaut. Like, we have the Thresh to be able to go in and force the initiates. We have the tanky Darius. We have Orianna to be able to take advantage of it once Darius gets in. We can keep them in. Rek'Sai, of course, being able to be a nuisance as a tank. So, it's like... when you have a team that can't adapt to a season, but the season is shorter now. So, like, White Lightning needs to adapt their strategy to the current style of the season, and it has shifted. And that might mean that iSenpai might have to pick up a few more champions that he doesn't normally play. Whether or not he'll be able to bring those out as well as he did his Maokai in previous weeks, his Gnar that he had before, remains to be seen. But we'll see how that evolves over the rest of the season, I think. And I am confident that they will be able to make these changes. They're not the type of team to just say, oh, well, we don't know what to do. They know probably what they need to do, but they're just not quite ready to do it yet.
And it's amazing how a couple picks can change so much, because White Lightning still has the brains behind their team. They still have the shot calling, they still have the coordination, they still have the ability to manipulate side lanes very, very well. But they can't do that when they're behind and have no ability to dictate pressure. IG has had the lead from the early game and just turned it on and kept it on them and have a ton of control to the point where to White Lightning's great shot calling wasn't able to really do anything. Now, we see the first unpause and the question of, are you guys ready, coming out in chat. So we'll probably be unpause in a couple seconds here. We're ready to go back to the exciting game of IG White Lightning.
And game has started back up, of course. I would like to add from that last fight, after the push towards the tower, finally Afro has managed to bridge that lead that Habs had over him. He now is actually ahead. And
7 turrets is a great way to...
Yeah, 7 turrets is a great way to be ahead, but... and it's weird when you think about it, because, yes, he has this 7-turret lead and has all of these assists, and Habs is still either really close to being behind him or really close to being ahead of him. One or the other. So,
I mean, I think a lot of that is also the the just over 6,200 gold lead coming out from Lord Merc over Kuristina. A lot of the side lane farm has been given over to Lord Merc, and a lot of the side lane farm has been over to Habs. And we saw what happened before that last days, where Lord Merc was just able to jump on and assassinate Habs. The assassin was assassinated, which is never a good sign for your team. 59 is able to walk up. He's able to pull in Matador. Matador is going very low. Dodges the dunk out. iSenpai is probably going to get a big ultimate here, a great ultimate. But Kuristina is able to come to the fight just a little bit too late. Pocket Knife is going down. Pocket Knife just goes down. That's 2 kills over to Habs. And this split fight is going so fantastically in the favor of White Lightning as Lord Merc just gets blown up. And Jesus, White Lightning, why do you have so many lives?
So I just want to say that happened because Hobbs didn't actually join the fight until after they were already super committed. He came in on the back line and said, "Hey, did you guys forget I was here? Time to kill you." Now, we do obviously see that Orianna is still disconnected. They do not have Afro the Giant here. But even so, that was a very good team fight from White Lightning. Even with Orianna, that would have been a decent amount of damage, but I don't know if it would have turned the fight around completely. Because there was never really a point where everybody was clumped in one spot. It was, oh, there are 2 people here fighting Darius. There's, 1 or 2 people over here, and then Hobbs is on the backside and then just appears out of nowhere.
But that still being said, just a little bit more utility to shields and moving speed coming for Afro might have helped him out to the point where they were able to get onto somebody and start the reset train of Darius Tristana.
It's true. I think the issue there would have been that Darius used his ult and didn't kill Matador with it, so he would not.
The ultimate didn't hit Matador because Matador was able to repel and he was able to slow. I thought he was able to flash out there. I might have been.
He did.
Or not flash, but
what ended up happening was he repelled into the air. And then he, as he was doing the guillotine, Matador repelled into the air. And then when he came down, he didn't flash away. He got away, but then 59 flashed over and guillotined him, and it wasn't enough to kill him because the bleeds had run out. A little bit of a bush bait here, knowing that they have the vision control. Looks like they're willing to play it safe until Afro gets back. Probably the best thing they could do. Alternatively, they could wait until the rest of White Lightning pushes out and then try and sneak the inhibitors. And there's the Afro reconnect.
Yeah, we'll see what a true 5v5 can do with this team. The stall really helped White Lightning get a couple more items. Kuristina is still trying to farm, trying to get that Infinity Edge. That is the Void Staff finished on Habs. Habs being still a very large threat after that Quadra kill. But there's so much damage and so many items on Lord Merc that if he doesn't go down as quickly as he did in the last fight, things could go very south very quickly. And even if he does, you still have 5-9, who's this really tanky high damage threat. And, Afro.
And,
once Afro's
in, who does do a lot of damage. Looks like they're looking to maybe go catch out Kuristina, but they're going to get spotted out because of a couple of wards.
Where
Kuristina,
are
that is not a good spot
to...
the hesitation from 59, if he'd gone a little bit further, he'd have been able to
I mean, the hesitation from Kuristina, why are you backing that brush? That's your flash down. That's a big cooldown. You're not able to flash the Orianna ult in this fight. This is going to be... That's a big cooldown blow just because you're lazy and backing the bush. That might just be...
That's true.
That could very much be a sign of White Lightning kill.
Easy inhibitor. No problem. Just...
Habs does get hooked out and just goes down so quickly. iSenpai is blown up before he's able to go make an ultimate there, and this is going to be the game. More than likely over to IG. A big flash from Chino Baby gets a knockoff onto 2 targets. The shockwave does not hit anyone, but the hook does hit Simkev. They're able to chase down Kuristina, is just sitting in the base trying to heal up, and this is a game probably going to IG. 59 is deciding to dive, see what he can do. Lord Merc dives as well, but Afro was able to kill up Gurustina there. And that is the game going over to IG at the very end.
Well, I guess they felt bad, so they wanted White Lightning to have a little bit of stat padding. Well played to both teams, but in particular, very well played from IG. There was a lot of really good plays coming out, a lot of really good team fights in particular, and just a dominant lead that just continued to snowball.
Lord
we'll
Merc
be right back,
nearly
guys.
doubled the damage of Kurstina in that last game. Kurstina has done a fantastic job on Vayne in previous series, but Lord Merc just put on a fantastic performance this last game.
Definitely. Well, we will be right back, guys, as we are gearing up for the second game of the day, which will be Vanquished versus Spooky Midnight. See you in a bit.